Hi, it's Big J from Hot 1019 here, and we're talking to the co-chairs of the 2015 Relay for Life today, Steve Solberg and Robin Hanel. Good afternoon, you guys.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm fantastic, and we want to find out a little bit more about the Relay for Life, but also a little bit more about the two of you and why you take on all the duties that you take on for the Relay. And Robin, this is 2 years in a row for you as co-chair,
Right.
correct?
It is. The first year I co-chaired, or last year, with my husband Tom, and I was so thrilled to do that. We both have experienced cancer with family in the past. And our co-chair for this year, Steve, we recruited along with another party who moved away, and I thought to myself, cancer lasts more than a year. We hope it doesn't, but it can. And so the least I can do is help fill those shoes one more time, and we kind of figured it out, and then it's over. So this year things are going well, and I think because we've been there before, worked on this together.
Exactly.
May I tell you why I relay?
I would love to hear.
I'd love to
yes.
say that, and I relay, one, because of people like you, our friends, people on the committee, because I care about them. They're like family anymore. I relay because of my mom, 24-year survivor as of yesterday for breast cancer, 2 times actually. My dad, who we did lose a few months ago. My grandmother, Tom's dad, and many, many others. And that's why I relay. But I want to relay to find a cure, but I would like to promote being proactive so we don't even have to deal with cancer to start with, or being early diagnosis.
Absolutely. And that's, like you said, there's so many different people and so many different reasons
Yes.
to relay. And so we know Robin knew what she was getting herself into when she took this on. Steve, what about you? This is your first year as a co-chair, and tell us a little bit about how you got wrapped into Relay for Life.
Well, my wife passed away from cancer about 5 years ago, and I spent 2 or 3 years moping around and being mad and being sad, and finally the director of the American Cancer Society said, why don't you get involved? And I said, okay. And she said, well, how come you never got involved before? And I said, well, nobody ever invited me. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that they're invited to participate, because cancer is such a private issue that most people don't wear a badge around like we do for the American Cancer Society. But if they get invited to join, there's a lot of good people that are involved in that, and it's a healing process too. So that's one of the reasons.
That's what I wanted to ask. You mentioned your wife passing away. What is it like being at the Relay for Life and seeing all of the people and the support and everything that goes into it, and also at the same time remembering your wife and her battle? As somebody who's that close to somebody that lost the battle with cancer, how does that make you feel?
Well, my sons used to go to the Relay at night, and I thought it was just a way for them to get out of the house overnight. But 3 years ago, I went for the first time, and we had some luminaria set up in honor of my wife, Eileen. And it was such an emotional, uplifting situation, because you walk around with all the people that are sharing the same sorrow and the same sadness and happiness and everything else, and you form a bond with these people. You can look at them and you can say, I get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. We had a meeting today, and we all went around the table talking about why we relay. And it was such a neat feeling to sit there and listen to each other talk about the story of why they relay. And you understood it, you get it. And the person telling the story knew you understood. And I don't know how you describe that bond, but it's pretty unique.
Yeah,
it's a pretty amazing feeling.
Unspoken camaraderie amongst everybody that shows up.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. And speaking of the luminarias, you mentioned a few for your wife there. Robin, I know you had a big goal this year
Yes.
to try to sell 10,000 of those. Why'd you get behind the luminarias so much this year?
Well, I remember going around a number of years ago, and there were so many, and I think there was 8,500 luminarias. But I found last year, and we had a lot of them, but they seemed a little less. I believe, and I feel bad because I'm a number person, I think we took them for granted that they'd always be there, just like people, And so I made it a mission this year that we have luminarias, and we ask to honor those that aren't with us, but to celebrate the people that still are. And there are so many. Lighting up Billings is special to me this year, and I'm hoping that we fill the track, because we did miss a few last year. Again, we don't want to take them for granted. They're a very big part, not only for fundraising, but for those people that every candle is a life, and we don't want to miss anyone. So that's why we do it.
It's a great reason and a huge visual impact. I mean, the night of the Relay for Life.
I don't know what it's going to be like this year to see my dad's like I did last year. But I can tell you, I won't miss it because I bought 10 of them.
You'll find
and
it.
more family because, I don't want to miss anybody. And friends. And I keep thinking of more people I want to add.
And luckily people can purchase those right up, that evening. And
Absolutely.
Speaking of that evening, and you, Steve, talking about nobody inviting you, who's invited to the Relay for Life? Let's make it clear to everybody that it's not some sort of exclusive club, and you don't have to have a name tag, and you don't have to have permission. And why don't you let them know who can come out to the Relay and who we like to see out there?
Our theme this year is calling all angels, and it was determined because there's so many people that are involved. We call them angels, caregivers that come and take care of the people that are sick, and hopefully they recover. But it's just as hard on caregivers as it is the people that are sick. So we wanted to make sure that all the caregivers, as well as the survivors, were invited. So we call all angels to join us. And it's pretty amazing how many people show up. And our mission was to invite everybody. You don't have to have had cancer, but if you take a poll at about any place you go, whenever we go and speak or go to an event, we always say, show of hands, how many have been touched by cancer? It's nearly 100% everywhere you go. We went out to the Shepherd School, the elementary school had a mini relay. And even those kids that are up to 6th grade, 90% of them understood what cancer was about because they've had somebody in their life that was touched by cancer. And so they get it. And it's just kind of a neat feeling to share that. And we want those people to get involved, to come and take one lap around the track.
Yes.
And you'll be hooked forever because once we light those luminaria, you'll never walk around that track alone, even if you're on your own.
That's
There's
true.
so much friendship and good feelings. So.
And that's another thing too. I think a lot of people might not go out because they don't have somebody to go with. They think, I personally go with my mother who's a cancer survivor, so I, have somebody to go with. But I realize every year you find so many people there that you didn't know were going to be there that if you show up, you're going to find family or friends or people that you didn't realize cancer may be affected that are there either just supporting the cause or maybe there for, a struggle of their own or somebody in their family.
Well, people think they have to be on a team, and we'd like them to be on a team, but they don't have to be. But this is to plant a lot of seeds because somebody might say, I get it. Or we've just been touched. And walking around, how can I get involved next year and next year after that? And last year I saw names. I did my walk by myself at 2 a.m. It was beautiful, full moon. Very blessed that night. And I saw names of people that I had no idea. They're out, they're healthy. And thank goodness. And so I look at them in a different way and say, good for them. And we want people to come. Don't have to be on a team, just come.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about, obviously it's an all-night event, but we don't expect everybody, certainly not a first-time relay person, to show up and stay the entire night necessarily. So kind of give them a rundown of some of the events that are happening, what time things are happening, and what they should stay for or what they should check out.
Well, starting half the night, and you finish half the night. How about that?
I got a schedule.
Steve came prepared.
Well,
He's got it.
If you're a survivor and you've never been there, there's a dinner free for you. You can bring, some family as well. That's minimal cost. But that's at West High. You can sign up, call the ACS office and sign up or just come. And there's a spaghetti dinner, I believe, or pasta at West High. We really cater to our survivors. They leave West High at like 6:30. All come to the track. We have a little ceremony, opening ceremony brief, because we want those survivors to do their lap in their purple.
Which is the
most powerful thing.
Yes,
so that's the first part, and then...
Well, then we have an opening ceremony, and we have some speakers that are coming to town from a national organization. And I'm not familiar with their names, but this is a big-time speaker coming in, and he's very familiar with the cancer situation, and he's with the American Cancer Society.
National.
Yeah, and so we'll have he'll speak at the opening ceremony, and then we'll have some events going on until we do the luminaria lighting until at 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, everybody starts lighting the luminaria, and I'll tell you what, that is the most amazing, emotional, uplifting thing when people show up and they just hand out all these lighters and you go light the luminary, and most people go to the ones that are important to them first. And then when you walk around, you'll see all the people all the names you recognize, and it's amazing. And later on, after that, we have a fireworks display.
A great fireworks
It's
display,
a great
yes.
Awesome.
Neighbors love it. But it's usually
In the
over.
city.
And then there's activities all night long that we have a movie, and we have some music, and we have all kinds of events for people.
Zumba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and there's food available. I mean, refreshments. So really, it's
Absolutely.
all inclusive. Everything's there. You
Yes.
show up for 10 minutes. You show up for 10 hours. You're gonna have a great time. So
Coffee stand all night long.
yep,
Beautiful
you're taken
coffee.
care of.
And they dress up for the occasion.
Exactly. Everybody gets into it.
I have to add one more thing, though, and it's part of Luminarias, and it's the word hope. HOPE on the bleachers. That's the very last lighting. We have 4 grand marshals that we honor every year, and they light that, and that is the grand finale of the Luminarias.
It's a
Something
wonderful
to not
moment.
miss.
So many wonderful moments, though. This Friday at the West High Track. Hopefully, we will see you there. But I want to give a big thank you on behalf. Or do you have one more thing, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you do your thing.
I just have to add, and we really want the public to come to this, because you think it's over at midnight, goes all night long, but at 7 in the morning, we have the announcement of where our final fundraising number is. And we go around the track with a number, we have music, and everyone follows. One more time, it's powerful. Please be there.
Yep, exactly.
I was going to add one thing too, and Relay for Life is got things going all year long. We did a sock op this year, and the teams have different events all year. But what we try to do is put the fun in fundraising, because this really is a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the reason why it's important to raise funds is because a lot of it goes to cancer research. 65% of it stays local to help people that come to Billings
Right.
for cancer issues. But it's important to me, if you've ever watched somebody go through chemotherapy, that when they get up in the morning, they have 2 choices. They can either not take chemotherapy and not make it, or they can take chemotherapy and be sick, like you have the flu every day, and you still might not make it. And it's just an awful choice to have to make. I mean, the only choice they have. And that's why it's important to do fundraising, so we can figure out a better way to cure cancer.
Absolutely.
And, things are getting better. Prostate cancer and breast cancer are getting very curable. It isn't a death sentence anymore. But there's just got to be a better way than chemotherapy.
We're making progress, and
Yes, we are.
that's what the Relay for Life is all about. This Friday at the West High Track, and I just want to say on behalf of the whole community, Robin Hanel, Steve Solberg as co-chairs this year, thank you so much. There's so much work that goes into the Relay for Life, and you guys, I know, have a huge team, but the 2 of you have done so much. So thank you so much, and I'll see you and hopefully everybody else Friday night at the West High Track.
Thanks
Thank you.
for everything you
Thank
do.
you.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You're very welcome.